Consumer electronics giant Sony may be losing its market share to rivals such as Samsung and Nintendo and even Apple, but it's still Asia's top brand according to a new report by market information group TNS. Samsung only ranks 8th and Apple 17, with Nintendo not even appearing in the top 20. Let's speak now to Guy Hearn of TNS to find out more about this survey. Guy, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, for guys our age, definitely Sony is a top brand, from the PlayStation to the Walkman to the television sets.
Correct, that's right. But not just for us, it's also a top brand for younger consumers. You know, Sony's very strong and has a very consistent presence across most of the countries in the region, and also in some of the newer categories: cameras, camcorders, flat screen TVs, DVDs, camcorders. It has a really strong presence in all of those areas.
A big presence indeed, but brand recall doesn't necessarily translate into better profits and market share. Sony has been suffering, particularly in its bottom line, over the past few years.
That's true, and what we've done in this study is look at brand presence and brand visibility. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of elements to brand health and a lot of elements into profitability. We're not measuring all of those, but it does say that Sony has a really good base to start with. You know, it's a credible brand to consumers. They're willing to consider it along a number of categories. But of course, you've still got to deliver on the promise.
But overnight, we've seen some negative PR over Sony, a recall of about 400,000 units of their Vaio notebooks. This doesn't help.
It certainly doesn't, and these days when consumers are so connected across the region, you know, one piece of negative PR can undo a lot of marketing activity. So no, it doesn't help. You have to deliver against your promise.
Everybody knows about Sony's products, but over the past few years, they've seemed to lack innovativeness, creativeness. They've been only sticking to their core products, and they haven't really moved forward, such as the Apples, the Samsungs, or the Nintendos.
I think it's true that Sony have narrowed their focus over the last few years and concentrated on some core categories. But they do have innovation. I mean, if you take camcorders, for example, the TG1 is the smallest, the lightest camcorder on the market. They've been quite innovative in engaging with customers, particularly in the education campaigns around HDTV. They've run in Hong Kong and in Taiwan. They've been quite innovative in some of their engagement in India with the Vaio notebooks. You know, they've really harnessed that sort of youthful energy and inspiration that's so much part of India today.
And for big name companies, it's not just about churning out new products, but also spending a lot of money in public relations and marketing.
Yeah, it is, that's right. And Sony have done that. They spent very heavily this year, over $600 million, I think, and they've also invested in their flagship stores. And, you know, the new Sony style at Changi Terminal 3 is one example of that, and it gives consumers the opportunity to engage with Sony products, to understand what the brand's about.
Moving away from Sony in the consumer electronics space, I'm quite surprised in this particular survey that in the auto sector, Honda is tops in terms of brand recall and not Toyota.
Correct, but remember, when we think automotive, it's not just about cars. Honda have a very strong brand in motorcycles, and in some of the countries in our region, such as Malaysia and Thailand, motorcycles are still a very important part of the automotive environment.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Guy Hearn from TNS. And let's now take a look at the markets, and at this hour, no